I never believed in online dating. Too many horror stories, too many warning signs. But loneliness does strange things to a person. It makes you ignore red flags, rationalize the irrational. That's how I met Ethan. It started like any other boring Tuesday night, me scrolling through SoulSync, a dating app I had installed out of curiosity but never took seriously. I was about to delete it when his profile popped up. Ethan, 29, charming smile, deep brown eyes. His bio was simple. Looking for something real. If you love late-night conversations and exploring hidden places, we'll get along. Something about him felt different, genuine, not like the usual guys flooding my inbox with cringy pickup lines. I hesitated, but then my finger swiped right. It's a match. My heart skipped a beat. Almost instantly, a message popped up. Ethan. Hey, wasn't expecting to match with someone so beautiful tonight. Flattery. Predictable. I rolled my eyes but replied anyway. Me. Smooth. Do you say that to every match? Ethan. Only the ones who make me stop scrolling. I laughed. He was good. Too good. Our conversation flowed like we had known each other for years. He was witty, attentive, never made me feel like just another name on his list. We talked about our favorite movies, childhood fears, dream destinations. By midnight, I was hooked. Then, right when I thought our conversation was winding down, he said something that made my stomach clench. Ethan, you look familiar. Have we met before? I frowned at my screen, me. I don't think so. Maybe I have one of those faces. Ethan. Maybe. Oh, maybe it's fate. It was cheesy, but it made me smile. The next few days were a blur of late-night texts, inside jokes and voice notes that made my heart race. He made me feel seen in a way I hadn't felt in years. But then, little things started to nag at me. Like how he always knew when I was online, even when I hadn't opened the app. Or how he remembered details about my life that I never recalled telling him. One night, I jokingly mentioned how I love thunderstorms, how they made me feel safe. Ethan. That's funny. I know that about you. Me. I just told you. Ethan. No. I mean, I always knew. I laughed it off, but an uneasy feeling settled in my chest. Then came the first real red flag. I was at work mid-shift when my phone buzzed. A picture from an unknown number. I opened it. My breath caught in my throat. It was me. Sitting at my desk, right then, in real time. My hands turned ice cold as I stared at the screen. My co-workers chatted around me, oblivious to the fact that someone, somewhere, was watching me. My phone buzzed again. Ethan. Beautiful as always. I felt sick. I never gave him my number. I stood up so fast my chair scraped against the floor. My heart hammered against my ribs as I looked around. Who was watching me? I typed with trembling fingers. Me. Ethan. How did you get my number? The typing bubble appeared, then disappeared. Seconds stretched into minutes. Finally, a reply. Ethan. Fate, remember? That's when I knew. This wasn't love. It was a trap. I should have blocked him. I should have deleted the app, changed my number, and moved on. But curiosity is a dangerous thing. Instead of cutting Ethan off, I confronted him. Me. How did you get my number? Ethan. I thought you'd be happy to hear from me outside the app. I didn't respond. The smart thing would have been to end it there. But he apologized, said he got my number through mutual connections. It was a flimsy excuse, but a part of me wanted to believe him. Then he asked me out. A real date. No more texting. No more late-night calls. Just us, face to face. I should have said no. Instead, I agreed. Saturday night, 8:30 p.m. The place Ethan chose was a small, out-of-the-way cafe on the edge of town. Not a fancy restaurant, not a bar. Just a dimly lit place with barely any customers. The moment I stepped inside, I felt it. Something was off. Ethan was already there, sitting at a corner table. He smiled when he saw me, but it didn't reach his eyes. He looked different. His photos made him seem warm, inviting. But here, in real life, there was something hollow about him. Still, I forced a smile and sat down. "Hey," I said, trying to keep my voice light. "You came," he said, as if he doubted I would. The first few minutes were normal enough. He asked me about my day, complimented my outfit, even made a few jokes. But then he started steering the conversation in strange directions. "Do you ever feel like someone's always watching you?" he asked, stirring his coffee absently. I forced a laugh. "That's a weird question for a first date." He didn't laugh. "It's not weird if it's true." I swallowed hard. "Ethan, why did you send me that photo?" He tilted his head. "Because I wanted you to know that I'm real." "That doesn't answer my question." He leaned forward, his eyes locked onto mine. "Have you ever thought about fate? How two people can be connected before they even meet?" I stiffened. "Because I felt it with you," he continued. "Like I've always known you." Something about the way he said it sent chills down my spine. I needed to leave. I grabbed my purse. "Actually, I think—" His hand shot out and grabbed my wrist. Not hard, but enough to make me freeze. "Don't go yet," he said softly. "I haven't even told you the best part." I swallowed, my pulse thundering in my ears. "What part?" He let go of my wrist and sat back. "Do you know why I chose this place?" I shook my head, every instinct in my body screaming at me to run. "Because it's quiet," he said, smiling. "No cameras, no distractions." I forced myself to stay calm. "Ethan, you shouldn't be scared," he interrupted. "I've been watching you for a long time, and I would never hurt you." "A long time?" My throat went dry. "What do you mean, a long time?" He tilted his head as if confused by my reaction. "You don't remember, do you?" I felt the blood drain from my face. "You remember what?" His smile widened. "That's okay. You will soon." I stood up so fast my chair nearly tipped over. "I have to go." Ethan didn't stop me. He just sat there, watching as I backed away. But as I turned to leave, he said something that made my heart stop. "I'll see you soon." I ran out of the cafe, my hands shaking as I unlocked my car. I didn't look back. But as I drove away, a horrible realization settled in my gut. He never asked for my address. So how did he know where I lived? I drove like a maniac, my hands gripping the steering wheel so tightly. My knuckles turned white. My heart pounded in my chest, my breath coming in short, panicked gasps. He knew where I lived. I replayed Ethan's words over and over in my head. That eerie smile, the way he said, "You don't remember, do you?" Like we had some kind of history. But that was impossible. We had never met before, at least. Not that I could remember. I checked my rearview mirror every few seconds, half expecting to see his car following me. But the road behind me was empty. Maybe I was overreacting. Maybe this was just some twisted joke. Number. I couldn't think like that. I had ignored too many red flags already. This wasn't a joke. This was real. As soon as I got home, I locked every door, shut all the windows, and turned off the lights. My apartment suddenly felt too big, too open. Every shadow seemed darker. Every creak of the floor sent a chill down my spine. I grabbed my phone and called my best friend Maya. She picked up after 3 rings. "Hey girl, how was the big date?" I swallowed, my voice barely above a whisper. "Mia, something's wrong." The lightheartedness in her voice vanished instantly. "What happened?" I told her everything. How Ethan somehow had my number. How he knew things about me I had never told him. How he had been watching me before we even matched. And worst of all, how he knew my address. "Jesus Christ," Mia breathed. "You need to call the police." I nodded, even though she couldn't see me. "Yeah, I think I should." "Think?" she snapped. "No, you will. Do it right now. And don't stay in your apartment alone. I'm coming over." Hearing her say that made me feel a little safer. I hung up and dialed 911. Ring. The call connected. 911. What's your emergency? I took a deep breath. "Hi, I think I'm being stalked." "Can you explain what's happening?" the operator asked. I started telling them everything. But then, knock, 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 my heart stopped. Someone was at my door. I turned slowly, my phone trembling in my hand. The operator's voice faded into the background as I stared at my front door. The knocking came again. 3 slow, deliberate taps. I forced myself to step closer. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold my phone. I pressed my eye against the peephole. At first, I didn't see anything. The hallway was dark, empty. Maybe I imagined it. Maybe it was just my paranoia. Then I saw it. A single red rose, resting against my doormat. "Number no, no, no." I backed away, my breath coming in short gasps. The operator's voice snapped me back to reality. "Ma'am, are you still there?" I forced myself to speak. "Someone's at my door. They left something." "Are you home alone?" "Yes." "We're sending officers to your location. Stay inside. Do not open the door." I nodded, even though she couldn't see me. My mind was spinning. How did he get here so fast? I ran to my bedroom and locked the door, trying to slow my breathing. Mia was on her way. The police were coming. I just had to wait. Then my phone buzzed. A text. "Unknown number." "You didn't even say goodbye. That's rude." My stomach dropped. Another text. "Unknown number. I told you I'd see you soon." I turned off my phone screen, pressing a shaking hand to my mouth. This wasn't happening. A noise from the living room made me freeze. A faint, almost imperceptible click, like a door unlocking. I wasn't alone anymore. I held my breath. The faint click of the lock echoed in my silent apartment. I wasn't alone. My mind screamed at me to move, to hide, to do something, but my body refused to obey. I stood frozen, heart pounding so violently, it felt like it would explode. Then I heard it. Footsteps, slow, deliberate, coming from the living room. I pressed my back against the bedroom door, forcing myself to think. Mia is on her way. The police are coming. I just have to survive until then. I needed a weapon. My eyes darted around the room. My bedside lamp, too bulky. A perfume bottle, useless. Then my gaze landed on a pair of scissors on my desk. Not great, but better than nothing. Gripping them tightly, I listened. Silence. Whoever was in my apartment wasn't making any noise now. He was waiting for me to come out. I swallowed hard. Think. I grabbed my phone and with trembling hands, typed a text to Mia. "Me. He's inside. Please hurry." No response. I checked my last text. It hadn't even delivered. No signal. My stomach twisted. Had he cut the power? No, my lights were still on. Maybe it was just bad reception or... Then I saw it. My Wi-Fi symbol was gone. My network name had changed. Connected Ethan's phone. My breath caught in my throat. He hacked my Wi-Fi. He was in my apartment and in my phone. Beep. A new notification appeared on my screen. A video. I didn't want to open it. Every instinct screamed at me not to. But my thumb moved on its own. The video loaded. The screen was dark at first. Just a grainy recording of a hallway. My hallway. Then me. It was footage of me, earlier that evening, locking my door before going to meet Ethan. The camera angle was low, like it had been recorded from the ground. As I turned the lock and stepped away, something moved in the darkness. A shadow, behind me, inside my apartment. I dropped the phone. Oh my God, he had been here the whole time. Hiding, watching. A new sound made my blood run cold. A whisper, right outside my bedroom door. I told you, I've always known you. My body moved before my brain could catch up. I ran, not toward the door but the window. It was the only way out. I grabbed a chair and swung it, shattering the glass. The cold night air hit me as shards rained to the floor. Behind me, the bedroom door burst open. A figure lunged. I didn't see his face. I didn't need to. I already knew who it was. I threw myself out the window. I fell. The impact was brutal. Pain shot through my ankle as I hit the ground, but I didn't stop. I limped forward, barely able to breathe. A car screeched around the corner. MIA. Her car door flew open. Get in! I stumbled inside, slamming the door behind me. Mia floored the gas. What the hell is happening? I couldn't answer. I was shaking too hard. I turned to look back at my apartment, and then I saw him, standing at my broken window, watching. His lips moved. I couldn't hear what he was saying, but I could read his lips. This isn't over. The final horror. The police arrived minutes later. My apartment was empty. No signs of forced entry, no fingerprints, nothing. It was like Ethan had never been there. But he had. I knew he had. The only proof I had was the video on my phone. I opened my camera roll to show the officer. It was gone. Every message, every video, erased like he had never existed. 1 week later, I didn't go home. I stayed with Mia, jumping at every sound, barely sleeping. The police were investigating, but I knew they wouldn't find anything. Then last night, a package arrived. No return address, no name. Just a single item inside, a USB drive. My hand shook as I plugged it into my laptop. There was only one file. I clicked it. A video started playing. My apartment. A recording from inside my bedroom. Me, sleeping. And him, standing over me. His voice whispered through the speakers. I told you, I'll see you soon.